14 minutes to 9. There is going to be a vote of Conservative MPs on Boris Johnson's continued leadership tonight. We heard this about, 40 minutes ago. We heard from Sir Graham Brady, the chair of the 1922 committee, the sort of backbench committee of Conservative MPs, about half an hour ago. We heard from Sajid Javid as well. One of the things I put to Sajid Javid was a letter that's come in this morning from Jessie Norman, the former minister, a letter to Boris Johnson, which says, among other things, you have presided over a culture of casual law-breaking at 10 Downing Street in relation to COVID. To describe yourself as vindicated is grotesque. And Jessie Norman is on the line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Justin.
Is that the central reason why you want Boris Johnson to go?
No, by no means. But the last few days, the publication of the Sue Gray report and of the Queen's speech have shown that actually the reasons why I'm very sorry that the Prime Minister, to say that the Prime Minister absolutely must step down now or be removed, is because we now have a clear picture of a much wider set of concerns. And they are not just about Partygate, although that is a concern. They are also about core policy issues, including Rwanda and Article 16 and the potential breach of the Northern Irish Protocol, both of which I think would be are illegal or potentially illegal. So you've got that. You've also got a deep concern about the way in which policy is being conducted, which is to create dividing lines and cultural war and political disagreement just at a time when we need unifying, inclusive, energetic, positive leadership. And of course, you also have the constitutional question, which is this gradual centralization of power in number 10. And no one who understands our constitution could think that's a good idea. Our Prime Minister is not a president. Boris Johnson is not a president. And it would be a very serious mistake to consider him as such or to treat him as such.
So when Sajid Javid tells us...
and we have to act on all those three central concerns.
But when Sajid Javid and other ministers as well say, just let us get on with the job, this is all a distraction and it's not doing the people's business and people want us to get on with the job, and Sajid Javid was telling us about building more hospitals half an hour or so ago, you say what to them?
Well, I'd say several things. The people's business is determined by general election of their representatives, and those representatives are fully able to get on with the job, but what they would do better to do is to do so under a form of leadership that actually permitted our constitution to operate through proper cabinet government, not through centralisation of power in number 10, and not through this strategy of creating dividing lines. And to do so now at a time of economic, if not crisis, then serious difficulty, when growth is anemic, productivity is low, and we desperately need a boost to the economy, is, I think, a very serious mistake. And that is a core further reason why I'm afraid, I'm very sorry to say, and you can imagine this letter was not an easy thing to send, why it's very important today that my colleagues must vote against the Prime Minister. I'm very sorry to say that.
And if the Prime Minister wins, what then?
Well, we continue under that arrangement. I think it's going to be most unfortunate. I don't really see how government can continue under those on that basis.
Sajid Javid said it puts an end to it. I mean, if the Prime Minister wins, then that's an end to this. We carry on and the government carries on, and those who've tried to depose him have to stop.
Well, that plainly isn't true, because we know that a confidence vote is not a matter that's won on a one-vote majority, even though that may be the form of it. A confidence vote is won when you possess the substantial confidence of your colleagues to continue. Mrs. Thatcher felt that she did not have the confidence of her colleagues having won and what by any other standard would be an overwhelming majority in a vote. So the fact that the present Prime Minister chooses to define a majority as a majority of one, and therefore confidence on that basis, in no sense means that the Conservative Party should be proceeding on that basis. There should be a broad consensus in support of the Prime Minister, as there was in 2019, and very rightly so.
There will be those listening who say that you and your colleagues should have seen all of this coming. He should not have made it to the top job in the first place. And this speaks not about him, but about you.
I would entirely disagree with that. In 2019, it was perfectly clear that the only politician who was capable of resolving the political deadlock that existed was Boris Johnson. And those of us who knew him and supported him, as I have done for a very long time, supported him because we believed, I think quite rightly and fairly on the basis, that he would bring just the kind of inclusive, energetic, warm, liberal-minded leadership to the party. And it is a source of the greatest sadness that he has not been able to do that. And to resort to this present strategy of dividing lines and manufactured disagreement, I'm afraid, is little short of catastrophic.
But to which, again, people would say, hang on a second, that's mad. You knew what he was like. You knew what he was like as a person.
Well,
you had plenty of clues about how he'd govern.
Hold on a second, that's simply not true. The fact of the matter is that Boris Johnson was an extremely good mayor of London, and he had shown that he was able to govern from the centre in a very warm way that brought people along with him. And we all supported him on that basis. That was exactly what was needed in 2019, and it is what is needed now. And I don't think that political diagnosis has changed. I certainly wouldn't resile from it. What has unfortunately changed is the style, the manner of his leadership and the way he has conducted it through the various instruments of government. And I think the answer has to be a greater focus on actually allowing people, building a sense of teamwork, building a sense of inclusiveness, and allowing people to get on with the job, and doing so in a way that liberates those energies that we all know are so strong in our economy.
And
I'm afraid that can't be done under his leadership.
Who do you think it could be done under?
I have no idea, but it's completely untrue.
But isn't that the point? Again, there'll be Conservatives holding their heads in their hands when you say you're talking about getting rid of the Prime Minister, and you don't know who you want to replace him.
Sorry, you've misunderstood what I'm saying. That's fine. You've misunderstood what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are several candidates, potentially or actually in the fray. No one has declared themselves who could do this job. I don't know which of those will step forward, and I don't know which one the Conservative Party will choose. But it doesn't matter, because there are several who could do the job, and I suspect do it considerably better than the present incumbent. And unfortunately, it's also true that it's a mistake to say that the seats that were won in 2019 would not benefit, because what those seats want, full of small C Conservative voters as they are, whatever their political party, is proper government. And that is what I hope a change of leadership will bring them.
Do you fear, though, that you, the rebels, those others who have written to Sir Graham Brady, have moved too early, and that actually if you'd had the ability to wait, you should have waited until after the upcoming by-elections?
I am not a rebel in that sense. I'm not a rebel leader. I'm not coordinated with anyone else. I am someone who's known the Prime Minister for a long time, greatly likes him, has admired many of his achievements in the past, and has very reluctantly come to the conclusion, for reasons set out in writing in my letter at some length, that unfortunately now he has to go.
Jesse Norman, I know you're on the move. You're in a taxi, I think. Thank you for taking our call this morning. Jesse Norman, Conservative MP and, of course, former Minister under Boris Johnson.
So that vote will take place between 6 and 8 o'clock tonight. And on the line now, Fraser Nelson, who's editor of The Spectator, and Sebastian